Listen, the more you learn, the more you earn. Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Sabali Freeman. I want to talk to you guys today about this upcoming fall semester and all the classes that I'm going to be taking. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the video. So the first class that I'm taking is dance appreciation. Now, the reason why I picked this class is one, because I got to pick up a fine arts course, and two, I think it is the easier class out of all of my other options. Now, some of those other options were drawing, painting, ceramics, things of that nature. I remember when I was 18 years old, I was at Oakland Community College, and my mom convinced me to take ceramics. She told me how much fun it was going to be and how much I enjoyed the class. I absolutely hated that class. Ceramics is just one of those classes where you have to really put in an extreme amount of effort. You know, you have to really make things look good, and I realized about myself at that moment in time that I'm really just not an artsy person. I'm not good at drawing. I'm not good at painting. I'm not really good at doing stuff like that. I don't have the eye for it, the vision, and the patience either. So I'm just not good at those things. Not to say that I couldn't put time and energy into it and become good at those things, but nevertheless, it's just not something I'm in the mood for at this point in my life. So that's why I ended up picking dance appreciation. I just feel like it'll just be the easiest class out of all my other options, and a class that I could potentially get an A in, hopefully. Because you never know, just because it's a general ed course, a fine arts course, doesn't mean it's just going to be a walk in the park. So I don't want to set any expectations. It is an online class, so that's pretty good. It's something that I, can kind of do on my own time. So looking forward to that class, definitely. Second class on the list, I'm going to take psychology. Pretty much just a basic level of psychology, introductory level. I wasn't planning on taking any psychology courses. However, one of my buddies at the school, he graduated with a psychology degree, and he definitely recommended that I do take a psychology course just because on the MCAT, he said that there's a whole section dedicated to that. And trying to learn it on your own is doable, but you really have to know yourself. You have to really know if you're going to dedicate that time to learn all those things on your own. So he did recommend that I just take a couple of psychology courses just to kind of familiarize myself with some of the concepts and the topics and things of that nature. So when I do take the MCAT, I'm not kind of walking in, blindsided or anything like that. I definitely am looking forward to taking psychology. I think it'll be an interesting course. It definitely is one of the most popular courses out there. When I was registering, I saw that there were like 800 seats, and I just could not believe that. And there was like 600 students registered, and I was just like, whoa. I've been in a couple big auditoriums, but I ain't never been in nothing that big. So I'm excited just to see that auditorium, what that's going to look like. Being in such a big class like that, I am excited to see that, and just to learn some of the concepts and the topics that are going to be discussed in psychology as well. So I am definitely looking forward to taking that. The third class I got on the list is college algebra. So I am going to be taking that. Last semester I took intermediate algebra, so this time I'm taking college algebra. Um, I wouldn't say I'm looking forward or excited to take this class, but I think this class is going to be pretty much a walk in the park. I think it's going to be really easy for me. Intermediate algebra was extremely easy. I really didn't have to put too much time, energy, and effort into that class. Now, I don't think college algebra is going to be any more harder than intermediate algebra. I mean, we might go deeper into a few concepts, but I don't really see it getting any harder. In my mind, algebra is algebra. There's nothing that we're going to go over in college algebra that we probably didn't go over in intermediate algebra. So, you know, um, yeah. So, I think it'll be easy. I think it'll be an easy A. I expect to get an A, nothing less. Just because of my foundation in algebra. So, the fourth class is molecular and cellular biology. Definitely really excited to take this class. I am really excited to learn about the body on a cellular level. This class, I do believe that this is going to be extremely difficult. This is one of those classes that is really heavy in its material. They're just kind of really throwing a lot of concepts at you, a lot of material. And even though this is a 16-week course, I definitely still do think that this is going to be extremely difficult for that reason. And two, I have no foundation in biology at all whatsoever. I don't know any terminology in biology. I don't know anything, right? So, I think the smartest thing for me to had done was take an introduction to biology before this, but I'm kind of a little too late for that. So I think it's going to be extremely difficult just because it's just going to be new information. And of course, being hard because of the workload and the pace and the material, the amount of material is one thing. But, when it's all new and you have no foundation, then it just makes it 10 times harder. So, although I am excited, I know this class is definitely going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a challenge. I am setting my expectations high. I do expect to get an A out of all my classes. I'm not really looking to get nothing else but an A. So I expect to definitely work hard and study hard to make that happen. But overall, I am excited to take that class. And then last but not least, we got organic chemistry. Now, I've heard so many nightmares about this class. I've never met anybody to ever, really say anything positive about this class. People say it's the number one class that makes pre-meds, switch their major to something else, and just completely say, you know what, we don't even want to be a doctor no more. Honestly, I don't really think no class is that hard. I don't think, my mindset is, I just don't really think there's nothing out here that's just uncomprehendable. There's nothing that your brain cannot comprehend. So, as far as organic chemistry being comprehensible, I think that it's not that hard. Now maybe it might be hard as far as the course load, the material, the amount of material they're throwing at you. The pace of the class might be challenging, but comprehending it, I don't really think anything is uncomprehendable. So I wouldn't say I'm excited to take the class, but I am kind of a little excited just to kind of see what the hype is all about. I'm excited to see how well I'll do in this class. Because again, everybody always has something negative to say. People say this is like the hardest class ever. So, I'm just kind of really interested to see, why people say that, what their perspective is about it, and what's so hard about it, So if you notice, I always talk about how, I was a part-time student. So this time I'm going full time, 15 credit hours. I do have a 1 credit hour biology lab as well that I forgot to mention. Um, but yeah, so 15 credit hours. So this is definitely going to be a really interesting semester. It's going to be extremely challenging taking organic chemistry and molecular and cellular biology in the same semester. That's definitely going to be a killer. It's going to be really, really challenging. And I think it's ultimately going to really test to see, how bad I want it. I think if I can get through this semester thriving, I think everything else is down here from here. I don't think there's really no other obstacle or challenge that can really come my way that I won't be able to, handle. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting semester. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very challenging at the same time, but I do look forward to it and I can't wait to start. So, that's what I got up for next semester, this upcoming fall. That's what I'm taking, 15 credit hours. So yeah, I'm excited and I can't wait to get started. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the next clip.